Namaste, everyone. I hope you can hear me. If you can, then just say a yes. Santhosh, you can hear me, right?
No, I can't hear you.
Okay. Thank you for confirming that.
You're welcome.
Thank you for confirming that. Can anybody just confirm if you can hear us? Still waiting.
Can they hear me?
Yes.
No.
Okay. We
Okay,
can see
perfect.
and hear both of you. Thank you, Faiz, for confirming. So, welcome to another episode of What Lies Beneath? Ask Me Anything. And today, my guest is the great Santhosh Tuppad. About Santhosh, I can go on speaking, but I'll try to summarize it in a very few sentences. Santhosh is probably one of the biggest contributors to the security testing community around the world, with contribution to OWASP cheat sheets. And he has some very unconventional cheat sheets. We'll talk about those when we talk to him. He was the pioneer of spreading message of testing with mind maps, with his Test Insane mind map series, which has a huge repository of mind maps carried over, and contributed by so many testers along with Santosh. That is a fantastic repository. And then he has been an ethical hacker, a teacher, a tester, you name it, an adhyatmic guru, if I may call it, spiritual leader. From time to time, he has some gems of wisdom that he keeps on spreading. So, welcome to the show, Santosh.
Thank you, Brijesh.
Well, to the audience, guys, feel free to ask your questions, whatever questions you have for Santosh. We look forward to some interesting discussion. So, Santosh, I want to begin with some stories that we've heard about you. Okay, I was reading up something about Santosh, and I read that you, at one point of time, hacked a dial-up connection. Why did you do that?
Uh, okay, so there are different versions of this story. Uh,
What is
what I
what is
keep
the true
telling.
version? What is the correct version?
All right, some things I hide and I don't give out that information, but I think I can speak about something extra in this the test chat. All right. So why did I crack the password of a dial-up connection, or you can call it as hack it? Okay. Now, I did not have money. That's the number one point. And I was in school, and my father wouldn't give me money to go to the internet cafe or the public computer, which has the internet, because I had to pay per hour. And so I got this bug in my head, which is about becoming an IRC addict. I became one. So that's a old school where people used to use internet relay chat, just like
Yeah,
Yahoo Messenger. People used
I
to,
asked. Yes,
yeah.
yeah, I was one of
So,
them.
oh, cool, perfect. Thank you. Okay, it's good to see you. Yeah. So what happened was I was chatting and with different people around the globe by joining different channels on IRC. And then if I don't uh, be online the next day, then my operator status, all right, we had something called as AOP and SOP. So the SOP is a super operator and AOP is the auto operator. So the channels had this concept. So where you could kick or ban someone from the channel if you were AOP, all right, or even SOP as well. But SOP had some other privileges as well, where he could add a AOP. All right. So now we have different things like privileges here, which is about we can relate it to access control. Someone is an admin, someone is a regular user, so we can relate the IRC to the applications that we test even today as well. So I have to be online tomorrow, but I don't have money. So what I did was I went to this internet parlor and I was a regular customer there. And I would get any machine from those 10 computers or something. And that day I went to that machine, which was used by the owner. So who would connect the internet and through a dial-up connection. So we had this jittery sound, right? Long time back. Uh,
Hmm.
I, I mean, I love that sound.
The
Sometimes,
fax machine sound.
yeah, the jittery sound, like the curr sound. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
56 kbps modem. So, and we had a very old Internet Explorer where the flag of Microsoft used to fly. Okay,
Yeah.
whenever you are loading a website. So what I thought is if I do not be online tomorrow, I cannot be regular on that specific channel. So how would someone see me as a regular user who would chat so much uh, and get to the AOP level or SOP level? So you get that privilege. So for that, you have to be regular and you have to chat a lot on the main channel. And I was really bothered, and that was concerning me because I was really passionate addict of IRC. So what I did was uh, there was a software uh, called as IOPS password recovery.
Hmm.
Now there are many other softwares as well. So where uh, you could just drag the key once you install the software, you drag the key from your mouse to the password field, and it would actually show you what's behind those masked characters or the access. All right, whatever we see the bullets in the when we type in the password field.
Yeah.
So, but there was a problem. One was a free version, one more was commercial version, and I did not have money to buy. I'm trying to hack this because I don't have money. So why would I buy something, right?
Yeah.
So then what I did was, okay, once I tried searching on Google or even different search engines as well, I got this IOPS password recovery. I installed the free installation, and my friend was sitting beside me, and he was like, "But the free version is going to reveal only first three characters of the password, right?" And where was this password? And people usually have this habit of remember my password checkbox, a tick. And because they were lazy, so why enter the password again and again whenever you have to connect to the dial-up connection?
Yeah.
So that was beneficial for me. So what I did, I opened password recovery. My friend told me it's going to show only first three characters, but the password was 9 characters. So how would we get the other one? I mean, other 6 characters, right? So what I told him was, look, okay, if we get first three characters, maybe we can guess because
Yeah.
people write apple, orange, and everything those days. And he was like, all right, okay, let's continue and say, okay, what are those first three characters? The first three characters were Z, U, O. And this was really confusing because it was not a dictionary word. Looked like okay, lowercase and uppercase. And that was a big problem. And my friend told me that, I mean, he was teasing me, saying that, okay, no, you cannot see. It's a complex password. You cannot really crack it. And then I was like, wait a moment. So this software will show you only first three characters, right? Once you drag that key from the software to the password field, it shows only first three characters. But
Yeah.
as there were 9, how could we get it? And then I was like, I told my friend that, wait, okay, what we can do is first get the 3 characters and then mark the cursor on the third position and delete them or backspace, and then again use the software then you will get 4, 5, and 6
Sick.
characters. So I did it for 3 times and I got the full password. So I did not use the commercial version here, but it took some more time compared to the commercial version. But I had all the time because I mean, how much time would it take for me? And I was in school. I did not have any work to do. So my work was to crack this password. And that's how I got the password. And what I did was, after getting the password, I told the owner that I'm going on a vacation, okay, to my native. I won't see you for a month, all right? Now you see a social engineering concept as well here. It's not just cracking the password, but also uh, communicating with the humans because I'm trying to hack them as well because they should not feel, oh, this person did something else and he's not coming, right, to the shop. So but I didn't go to my native, of course, but that information was for the owner. So I went home. I took a telephone line because we had a wired line. So I took it to the another room. And those days, my mother would get skeptical. She would be doubtful, thinking that why does it take a wire from this room to that room and under the door? And he closes the door. All right. And then I used to connect using the username and password of that internet parlor or internet cafe. And then I would connect to the internet. Now, I used to connect it only after 11 o'clock in the night. And this is because there cannot be two connections. Because if I connect, they would be disconnected. And I had all this information in my brain. It's not just that, okay, I go home, I get excited, and then I try to connect in the afternoon because it would disconnect the internet from the cafe. And I don't wanted that. So you see that how the brain is working now, functioning now. It's not just that getting excited and saying, okay, I have the connection and trying to connect again and again, even though there cannot be multiple connections. So this happened, and but the problem there is a problem here. I did not pay for the subscription of the internet package, but you couldn't escape the telephone bill, right? So
Right.
it was charging those days. And
Yeah.
then it was like 8,000 Indian rupees a telephone bill. And my mother told my father that she was complaining basically. She said, I don't know what this kid does. He takes this wire during the night around 11 p.m. and he takes it under the door. He closes the door and then he turns off the light. But there is a flickering effect, right, on the monitor, the display.
Yeah.
Long time back, I had this compact Presario. It was very expensive, but today it's not. Okay, when it started, it was kind of a boom for the computers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I did that, and I used to use the internet like all night, and then I became ESOP directly, not even auto operator, but the highest one where I can add auto operators on internet relay chat. I was really happy. Uh, I mean, what a privilege, right? You can kick and ban anyone. So that's beautiful. so this started happening, but the telephone bill actually put me off the grid, and my father was like, "Tell me, what were you doing?" Your mother tells me that, okay, you hack credit cards. And I was like, no. What is a credit card, first of all? I don't know. Right? And my father was like, okay, I will start the investigation by going to the office, BSNL office, okay, like you know, in India.
Yeah.
And that time I was really scared. But on my face, I don't want it to show that I was guilty. So I said, yes, we have to investigate this thing. Okay. And my father goes to BSNL office and then he investigates. And those people say, there's no tapping or anything. And you have to pay the bill. This is coming from you, nowhere
Yeah.
else. And then I told my father, look, I don't even have money to buy an internet subscription package. So why would I do it? And he was like, okay, no worries. And I was like very happy because he paid the money. But I changed my style since then. I don't wanted to use it because I got to know there is a telephone bill as well, and I have to pay that. So since after that day, I stopped using that internet subscription pack. But sometimes I would use it, okay, but it's not like completely I shut it down. So I would use it, and I would tell my mom that okay, I'm learning something, so don't tell dad. Okay. So she would say, all right, my kid is learning something, it's fine. And she's so happy today that seeing me in, in, in today's world, she's saying that you used to do all this thing, but I think it was not nonsense because it was connected to what you had to become. All right. That's what she says today, but not those days. She would be like, okay, study, learn. And I was really bored with the academics all
So,
my
so,
life.
so I have. Thank you for bringing that out. So I have another connected question. Is it
Mhm.
true that you shoplifted once?
Actually, shoplifted, school lifted as well.
Oh,
There is
wow.
no such word called as a school lifted, but I stole question papers when I was in school,
Why
and
did you do
also
that?
the shop. Okay, uh, I would speak about shoplifting first. All right. So I did that because I like chocolates a lot, and I need money again. So money was the motivation here. Not having money was the motivation. So what I did was I went to a shop where my mother used to be a regular shopper, and I would go there because if something happens, my mother would save me because that was running in my brain. I did not go to any random shop, but this shop where my mother used to shop regularly. And I went there and I used to give this one Indian rupee, and you would get like two chocolates for 50 paisa each. And the shopkeeper used to give me two chocolates. And what I used to do was I used to go there again and again continuously so that I also become a regular shopper. And this person, the shopkeeper, would believe me. Once this happened, what I did was on the fifth day, I took one rupee, the same thing again, and this time there were many shoppers. So intentionally, I went there when there were many people so that it's easier to manipulate the minds. I mean, I did not know these words then, but today I can connect because I did not know what manipulation means. So I was doing this then, but I can connect the dots today, going back. Uh, so what happened is on the fifth day, there was a trust created between the shopkeeper and me, who is a buyer. I go on the fifth day when it's heavy traffic in terms of the buyers or the customers. I go there and I say, uncle, right? So in India, we call everyone uncle or
Uncle.
auntie. Yeah. So I go there and then I say, uncle, two chocolates, 50 paisa and 50 paisa, which is one Indian rupee. I need two chocolates now. And as he was busy with other customers, he says, you can take it and keep the money there. And then my mind thought, okay, this is what I was waiting for. And once this happened, I opened the jar. I took a lot of chocolates, handful of them, put them in my pocket, and then again I picked two chocolates separately, and then I say, Uncle, two chocolates. I took it because it's a trust game here.
Yeah.
And that person said, it's okay, no worries. Just keep the money there. I kept the money here. So actually, I had bought so many chocolates in my pocket, and also I just did not stop there. I showed the other two chocolates to the shopkeeper to build one more layer of trust. So that was the shoplifting what I did. And after that, I don't want you to do it again and again because you get caught. Sometimes it's better to do it once
Yeah.
and have your benefit and then stop. So that's how some of the malicious hackers work as well. The strict kiddies as well.
Yeah. So
Now
what's the school
that
lifting story then?
school, the question papers. I used to get this. I had a great memory by then. I think I still have. Yeah. So what I did is I would get good marks as well. I was good with the ranking or the grade system as well in the school. And I don't know why I would do that thing if I could really score good marks. But today I can connect the dots. Okay, because I had to become a hacker. So what I did was I went to my friend's home. I got a key which was kept near the window, and I don't know. It could be any key, right? I just picked it, and his mother was scolding him. You keep going out and playing. Don't mix with Santhosh, all right, which is me. And I was listening. I was speaking through the window, and then saying, "Oh my God, I don't want to be here." So I picked that key. I don't know why I picked it, but I know today. I picked it. I put it in my pocket. I directly went to the school, and once I went to school, I just inserted the key in the lock. And that is it's the first happiness, first level of happiness is okay, it looks good, it feels good, okay, the key may work. And then I unlock it and then it opens. It's just like, wow, feeling. All right. So in Hindi, all right, okay, there is an advertisement, right? Laddu Futa. Okay, that was the moment that I had where my brain had a lot of lights or the neurons were colliding with each other and I was so happy. And you know what? I got scared as well. So I locked it again. I went to my friend, the same friend, okay? And I tell him, look, okay, I can open the school because he was also a student. He was my junior. I can get you some question papers as well. Because his mother used to always scold him, you don't study at all. Now you see how I'm having an accomplice in my activity. So I got him, and then we get inside. And the first thing that we do is uh, take those books because in the school they used to give this book for homework and everything once you start your schooling. So we took a lot of empty books, and you know what we did? I think that was the kindness. If I connect it back, so what we started doing is keep the book on the road, on the street, and when some people used to come there, okay, the kids would be there in that area. Uh, uh, there were many kids as well. So we used to keep the book and they would pick them and go home. And I mean, we wouldn't get anything, but we would get happy seeing that, okay, they got a book. So after that, we went to the headmistress chamber and we had a pen. We took a pen, all right? And we had like 3 rupees or something, and we took those coins. But actually, it was more than 10 rupees, but we took only 3 rupees. Look, okay, we were good hackers, right? I mean, we don't wanted to take everything and start one more investigation. And this was before I cracked that password in the for the internet. This was before that. I did not know there were computers. So that happened, and question papers. You know what I used to do? I also took the question paper in the school after breaking in and look into questions, and then I keep it back because I know the answers to everything. All right, and I had a good memory skill. I wouldn't steal the question papers and take back home. So that was the thing. Okay, how I took the question papers and put all the questions in my memory. If I get good marks, and then I keep it back. But I never picked the question paper and took it back home because that's when the investigation starts. So that was book listing or coin listing or whatever you may want to call. So we had that key, but finally we got caught. All right. And how did we get caught? Actually, my friend, he left me because I used to go there again and open the lock and see what else is there. But but then there was a person who used to live in headmistress and headmaster's home because he was from the village. He saw me and he was my best friend. Okay. Thank God he saw me because he was walking in the front and the headmistress and the headmaster were coming behind him. So he came and he said, Santhosh, what are you doing? How did it open? And then I was like, man, do you have a key? He said, yeah. So you opened it. I did not open. Okay. So just do it and then we'll be fine. We'll talk about it later. Okay. So then he says, okay, let me put my key. Okay. He puts the key because he used to open the school as well because he used to live in the headmaster's home. So he did that. He helped me as well because, I mean, that's the thing about best friends, right? Okay. Sometimes, okay, they become part of you and part of your activity as well. So that was a shoplifting and that was scary as well. I don't want it to get caught, but
Awesome, awesome,
yeah.
awesome. So great
Yeah.
stories there. Now, I want to draw the audience's attention and your attention to something that you have contributed a lot, and that is the test insane mind maps.
Hmm.
Two questions
Yeah.
on that one. Why did you do that? What was the idea behind it? And secondly, just tell us more about the test insane mind maps.
Right. Test inside mind maps, the intention of starting that was uh, I felt happy doing it. That was my sole intention. And I like giving out information to people around the globe, not necessarily, okay, here or there or anywhere, but to everyone because it's a free world. So that's how I started Test Inside Mind Maps because I used to develop a lot of mind maps which could help testers and
Great.
even developers as well. So I started with,
By the way,
yeah,
sorry to
yeah,
interrupt you, Santosh. I have pasted the link of the Test Insane mind maps for
yes,
the audience in the chat box. They can
perfect.
go ahead and explore it while you talk. Sorry to interrupt you. Please continue.
Yeah, cool. No worries. Okay, where was I? All right, the mind map. So I started it, and then I got a lot of different contributors around the globe. So they started contributing to the mind map repository, and it started growing since then. And the sole intention was I was happy. So just like a kid, right? Okay, the kid doesn't have anything, any reason or anything, but the side effect of those mind maps were people were learning, people were using them, and it was really great moment when I was in New York. I went to a conference, and after the conference, you have this party in the evening,
Hmm.
and one of my friends he was introducing me to one more tester, and she said, "Well, those mind maps are really amazing." Okay, and I was standing there, and what happened is he goes on like, you know what? Have you met the person okay who started it? And she's like, no, but I would like to meet. That I think okay, he's here. He's standing just beside you. Why don't you meet him now? And I really felt very happy because the mind maps went across the seas, across the borders, and everywhere. And that's what I love about this internet. So because the story also started from internet, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
that was the intention. Only being happy and making others happy. That's it. Yeah.
so there is another big contribution that you've made, and that is to the Open Web Application Security Platform (OWASP), and
Yeah.
you have some cheat sheets there.
Yes.
They're very unconventional.
Yep.
So, what are those cheat sheets and why are they so unconventional?
Actually, on OWASP, there is one cheat sheet that I contributed, and that is about securing cascading style sheets. How many people look at CSS files as uh, as something okay which can help malicious hackers look into them and understand how these select whatever CSS properties in the file can help them to understand better the whole application itself. For instance, let's say this. There is a regular user and there is an admin, and they use the same login form. Okay. If they use the same login form, then it's about the CSS being changed after logging in because there is a authorization, there is a access control, and it identifies that person as okay, this person is an admin, and then I need to load all these CSS properties, the
Yeah.
design changes of your web page, right? Now, main.css file. Any website or web application has a main.css file.
Yes.
That's really bad. The reason why it's bad is malicious hackers go to that CSS file. They could go to that CSS file, but I don't know if malicious hackers really do that. But maybe I'm giving them an idea now. But it's an education, okay? So let them not use it, but uh, testers can use this too. They go to main.css file. There is dot add user as well, the CSS properties, and so you said dot add user, dot delete user, and different things like what admin can do. And I'm like, okay, so this is the same for application. There's no difference in the URL as well. And the admin is going to log in from this user interface itself, the same form. And I could understand what can admin do once you gain the access. It's just like without even breaching the infrastructure, you know how much money is inside. So that's what the main.css file does. If you are really adding dot add user, delete user, uh, dot send money, all these things which only admin can do, administrator can do. So we should not add those things in the main.css file. Do not use one CSS file for all of your user roles. That's the first thing people have to think about. And why they should, or what they should do instead of doing this is whenever an admin logins, that specific .css file needs to load up. Only then, when the regular user logs in, only that specific CSS file has to load up. You cannot, I mean, you should not load all the CSS properties and everything in one file and load it for all the users. So load it based on the user role rather than okay loading it as one common file for all the users, because I can understand what kind of features does this role have. If I hack into it, how much money will I get, right? So if I breach an infrastructure, what will I get? I can see it. So because you have a transparent glass and one can look into that glass, I mean the window, and see how much money, gold, diamonds, or whatever you have. And nowadays bitcoins, you cannot see them, but yeah. So that's a securing cascading style sheet. So if you go to cheatsheetseries.os.org, you can find securing cascading style sheets as well there. So that was unconventional because not many people think about it. They only think about, okay, is there a cross-site scripting? Is there cross-site request forgery? Is there, can I try to brute force the login form itself? Now that's a big problem because OAuth top 10 is a starting point if you want to see it.
Yep.
It's not one, if you, if you do all those 10 attacks and then say, we are mitigating those, doesn't mean that you're secure. It's just one tiny layer. And that's good because I mean, it's changed every year, I'll tell you. If you go next year, the top 10 attacks are different. The last year it was different. And this year it will be different. So every year they keep doing this survey wherein out of 100 applications, 99 applications have SQL injection. That becomes a top one. So it's a survey rather than, okay, it's top one. Okay, we'll do only top 10 and we will not look into anything else. And that's the problem the whole industry suffers with. And they don't even understand they're facing a problem because they are only stuck to those OAuth top 10. And security is not just about OAuth top 10 attacks, but it's a great starting point if one wants to do a security testing of their application. Yeah.
So, thank you, Santosh, for leading me to my next question. And you mentioned that you know if you take care of the top 10 vulnerabilities and if you build mitigation against them, it's nowhere saying that you're going to be safe or all your risks are mitigated. So I have this situation for you that I built a nice house. The main door of the house has a biometric enabled lock, and only I can open it, and my you need my retina scan and my fingerprint and things like that to open it. Is my house secure?
Uh, Actually, you are not secure as a human being in this case. I mean, forget about the house, because if someone really wants to steal something from your house, they will kidnap you because they want to cut your finger and or the iris scan, whatever, and then use them. Now we have many movies like that. They show an eyeball to sensor and it opens up, right? So you are, uh, I mean, it's more dangerous when you have biometric and iris scan. Those things, you show your eye and then it opens up. That's the first thing. But let's focus on the application itself. Of course, the biometrics can be hacked. We always think that it cannot be hacked. The problem with the biometrics, okay, it could be the iris scan or your facial, the face itself, or it could be your fingerprint. Now, these can be hacked too. And what happens is when you have a text-based password, you can change it, but you are not going to change your eye or your fingerprint or your face unless it's a face-off movie, right? So, so that's a big problem as well. It's life. I mean, your life is a danger. One thing, if really people are so much motivated to go behind you, kidnap you, and do that. Depends on what you have inside your house. Again, so they do all this homework before hacking you or kidnapping you, and it can be hacked. And people usually hack it, and you cannot even change it. Just like how you change your textual password because you were hacked. You cannot change your face, you cannot change your fingerprints, you cannot change your eyeball, I mean the eye, the iris scan. So I think there are already hackers, okay, who hack the biometrics as well, whatever, all of these things. So in short, it's not secure. So
So
if you think it's secure, all it means is you want to feel comfortable with the money spending, right? So that's what you want to feel comfortable with. But no, I will tell you it's not secure.
so are you telling me, in other words, that if I have HTTPS on my website instead of HTTP, I am not
Mhm.
secure? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
HTTPS, there's a story, a long story behind this. When there were man in the middle attacks, someone gets into the transit and they can look into your username, password, or any kind of data that you send over the wire. That's why we got HTTPS. And that's how some of the big companies were hacked as well. I think even Facebook as well. They started getting, and the Yahoo, they started getting HTTPS. But that doesn't mean anything. It just means that no one can see your information over the wire. And some people even bypass that as well and see what is in between. If the certificate, right? If your SSL is not configured really well, they can downgrade it and then still see it. But let's say it's totally fine. It's amazing. It doesn't do a lot of things. It all it does is stopping man in the middle attacks, nothing else. And that's not security at all. It's good. I mean, we must have it to mitigate those attacks where malicious hackers look into the wire, the data there, and then they get to know what data you are sending to the server. It could be username, password, or else it could be contact us form or any kind of form. How much money you are sending to someone if you are using a banking application. So SSL the HTTPS is used only for that. But if I want to hack into your user role, that's something else. There are access control, there's cross-site scripting, there are so many open doors and windows, not the Microsoft Windows, but you get me. And
The
nowadays we have
Windows.
rats as
Yeah.
well. So you can
Yeah.
come beneath the ground, I mean underground, and then you can get in the home as well. So there's so many ways. I think this was in Netflix series uh, where they go underground and then get into the bank vault, and that's how they get all the money. That's a very famous one. I think it's Spanish one, but yeah, I don't remember the name now, but it's on Netflix, very famous one. So they have a red suit or something like that and a mask as well on the face in the series.
So again,
So
so
it's
all
not
this,
secure. I
so
mean, it's
all
not
this,
about.
so all
Sorry,
this
go ahead.
128-bit encryption of my SSL and in the transport layer. I mean, how do I anticipate somebody getting into the transport layer and getting past that 128-bit encryption and still getting access to my stuff?
Mm, that's a good one. So the first thing is you need to have a sufficient monitoring and logging, and most of the people do not have that.
Yeah.
All they do is they celebrate once their application is live, and they they become sad once it gets hacked. So you need to monitor all those logs, and if someone is bypassing it, one is security testing of your SSL itself, first thing. And if someone is looking into it over the wire, they must be doing something, right? They take the data and they will do something else. They will try to exploit something. And this can be in the monitoring as well. If we configure the system really well, we can understand where is the request coming from and where is this person tampering the value. Is it in between the transit or from somewhere else? We can track these things. Nowadays, you have even where a person clicks, and that's why it gets scary because they are actually watching me all the time. I mean, that's about uh, data usage by the companies itself. There are companies, okay, which track you because they have to sell the data to someone else,
Yeah.
and that's the reason I start seeing. Once I speak on my phone as well, I start seeing the ads about whatever subject I spoke over the phone. And I'm like, what? How is someone how is someone sending me an advertisement on Facebook while I spoke about this over the phone? Now, who is tracking this data? Okay, who is selling to whom? Now, if I speak in Hindi, sab ek hi thali mein khate, all right. So this guy sells to them, that guy sells some information to this person, and we are the casualties. Is what I see. Not all the companies, but there are companies, and especially the bigger corporations. Okay, I do not like them for many different reasons. So yeah, so SSL. What was your question about
So my
SSL?
question basically was, if I have 128-bit encryption in
Doesn't
my
matter.
layer, how can somebody get into the transport layer and then still? Anyways, thank you for explaining that. Now, I
They
have
should
one.
not succeed whenever the data is in the transit. That's what the testing has to be done for those. Now, 128-bit encryption or 512 or 1024 or 2048 bit, that is going to affect you in performance as well. So if
Mhm.
you have a high-end server, only then you can upgrade. So which means there is a better encryption. But sometimes you need to balance between a usability or the performance and security. That's why people have around 512 bits. It just means that okay, maybe they have better infrastructure, and not everyone can have better infrastructure based on the money flow that they have in their business. So they do it. But if it's misconfigured, you can see it, and it doesn't mean your application is secured no matter how many bit encryption you use. 512, 2048 doesn't matter. Yeah. It's just
So,
one door. Yeah.
so while you're saying all this, and this is all good information, I want to understand something really, really basic. Okay. We've seen that across the industry, the IT industry, testing more often than not is an afterthought. Okay. People start developing, they run into issues, then they think, oh, we should get it tested. Right? And then security testing is an afterthought of that afterthought. That is, until the customer reports a hack, I will not think about security testing. What do you
Yeah.
think about that?
Uh, I mean, you are right. We can move to the next question. Just kidding, right? So so there's different kinds of customers with who I have worked. For instance, it could be someone who really cares about the security of their application, and the second one can be they just want to get a certification that we got security tested, and the third one would be, well, you know what, I'm doing it because I care for my users, different reasons. But even if you are doing it for, I just need to get a certificate for my application so that I can flaunt it to my users and the world. That's fine too. But you need to get good guys. What happens mostly is you go to these XYZ companies and you say, hey, look, okay, I need a certificate and you need to do this OWASP top 10 or a penetration testing or security testing or network security as well. Uh, and what happens there is you get a beautiful report. The report is amazing. I mean, thanks to those skills as well, where people can create such reports. But the content is not really good. It's not as good as their presentation skills. So most people go to these bigger companies because they have a big name and they have marketing team, sales team, and to show what we can do. There are bigger documents. Okay, there are 30 pages, 50 pages, and everything. But that doesn't speak about any great security testing that they can do. It just means uh, I don't know anything about security as a business owner, and I am searching on search engines. It could be Google or anything. Whatever comes on the top, okay, I'm going to click it and then say, I want to get it tested. How much do you charge? But I mean, people should know that you have Google AdWords as well. People can pay and they can put their link on the top. And mostly the treasure is found under the ocean. It could be on the 100th page. You have to uh, find those people or that person who can really help you, who is skilled enough and who is passionate enough about hacking and who has this security mindset rather than just producing a report and giving it. I can give you a report, someone else can give a report, but what goes wrong there is people give a report and the business owner becomes happy, and in the end, the business owner becomes sad or cry because someone else hacked. And no one holds a responsibility now because these people said, look, okay, we had this in our terms and conditions, right? I, as a person, as a hacker, how I help companies is I keep terms and conditions at nil, nothing else. Okay, so we are here to protect your application from not being hacked by malicious or a black hat hackers. So that's our goal. And that's the only goal that we have, not necessarily do you provide a certificate this way, that way. I'm like, what where are we living? It's 2021, and if still someone is doing the same thing, I think God bless us. Yeah. So
So this is
yeah.
this is pretty much in line with the question that is on the screen. that security testing or security engineering should be an ongoing and continuous activity. But many times it's not the case in a lot of organizations. So, what is your recommendation to overcome this challenge? Hire me.
Well,
Hire Santosh.
yeah, the first sentence is good. Okay, I agree with that. Should be ongoing and it has to be continuous activity. So I remember shift left approach, and everyone is speaking about shift left. And when someone spoke about shift left in one of the conference in Spain, they said we need to adopt shift left approach. And I was like, what the hell is this? And I asked my friend, what are they speaking about? What is the shift left? Okay. And my friend tells me that, you know what? He's from the context driven community as well. So he said, it's starting something from the initial requirement stage or design stage or anything, the testers being there. And I was like, I think that's how it has to be. What's the big thing in that? What is shift left now? So why are we making it as a great process? To me, it looks very uh, common, and that's the default way that everyone has to be there and keep saying it and ask questions when they are setting up the requirements and try to reduce some of the bigger risks themselves. And that can save their time and money as well. So good for business. But shift left is also good because there will be someone saying that I teach shift left, right? Okay, that's a good marketing now. Now those are the certifications. Okay, here is a shift left certification. Okay, if we do this, okay, you get a job. And that's a nonsense to me. All this shift left approach or anything, because that's a default way of doing things is what I believe. And going to the question as well, but many times it's not the case in the organization. So how to overcome this challenge? I don't know. The the first thing is I don't know, but now I will try to speak about certain things which may help. Not necessarily it's a 100% uh, or it's a sure shot that every company will start following this and everyone will overcome this challenge. So start slow, and no one will stop you. Even if you are a tester, you call yourself whatever. You call manual tester, automation engineer, designation doesn't matter here. So you can go ahead and look into the security of your application as well. Start doing it from a tiny thing. Now, you can start from the password field. The moment I see minimum characters have to be 8, right? For the password. That's what we see in the most of the applications. That's a bug now. That's a security bug for me. And even though you see it, you cannot relate to it. The reason is the practice. You are not cultivating that mindset. You are just following a sheet where someone says the Google does the same way. And I'm like, Google is not the guru of the software industry. So if you want to really build a secure application, you need to start from somewhere. For example, email address. I never understood why some people did not try this character apostrophe, right? That whatever you have on the
The
QWERTY
piping
keyboard.
character,
Yeah, yeah.
the
And
tilde,
then
tilde right
no, no,
next to
not
the
that one. Not that one. Not that one. Just beside the backslash, near to the enter key. So you have
okay,
that
the piping character.
apostrophe or single quote. Okay, a single quote hyphen hyphen at the rate example.com, or it could be anything. Now people can try doing this. Now what does this does is it is going to drop all your email addresses from the database. Even if you are copying someone, you can still start from there. It's fine, but at least get into that. Why not go on Google and search for uh, cross-site scripting payload? Payload is mm, a test data. So in security world, they call it as payload. And in testing, okay, we call it as test data. So just copy it and paste it and then see what happens there. And then move on to the next level. and then next level and next level, because you will feel that happiness, all right? And once you have that happiness, you feel like learning more and deeper. So that's the thing about this question here. I don't know how to overcome this challenge. It will take time in terms of what you are doing. I'm not saying it will take time like, okay, 10 years, 20 years, but you can start doing it. Just do some tests and then say, we have a problem here. And then be really good with the bug advocacy. How you know the stories? Maybe there are breaches on the web. You can say, this company lost so many million US dollars because they had this breach. And all the users were suing them because that's a class action lawsuit.
Yeah.
And all these things, okay, when you learn about other things as well, it will help you to create that credibility within your team and organization, and then maybe start thinking about it. That's one of the ways to overcome this challenge, but it's not a sure shot. Because if a person, no matter how much you show, right, in terms of the credibility, that person is not able to see, then I think you need to leave that company and go somewhere else and help someone else. Yeah.
So there is this other question from Kshitij, and he's asking, one big challenge I face is with awareness of security among testers, and more importantly, developers. Apart from trainings and workshops, how have you handled it in the past?
Apart from trainings and workshops, how have you handled it in the past? I would hack it and then go to the developer, and the developer would say, we cannot implement it, and then I would implement it. Because I'll share one of the examples. So I was working for this big organization. Uh, they are into e-commerce. So I went to that person and I said, we can use Google's reCAPTCHA to avoid brute force attack. And the developer told me, Santosh, we cannot do that. We cannot integrate this into our application for these reasons. And the developer was bluffing, all right, or else probably he did not know at all.
Hmm.
What I did was I went back to my desk, opened up the Google reCAPTCHA documentation, and I implemented it. And then I went to the developer and I said, hey, look, okay, it works this way. And the developer was like, oh, okay, wow, man, okay, thank you. Since then, the developer started talking to me in terms of, Santosh, can we use this third party or we should not use? Now we see how the credibility is created. And speaking about awareness, we don't even speak to each other in companies actually. At least
Yeah.
out of 10 companies, okay, 10 companies as well. I need to consider 100 companies, sorry. 100 companies or 100 companies and at least 99 companies they are talking. Now that's a bad thing. Okay, 99 percentage of people they don't speak about uh, anything else. Now the cafeteria is filled with, okay, how's your life, what's going on, and that person is bad, this person is good, this manager is bad. Okay, these are the backpitching that happens within the organization. The thing is, if someone is becoming better, we hate it, right?
Yeah.
We don't want to. It's kind of this is a rat race. So we spoke about it in the big testing debate, but this is a rat race that people have. I want to be better than that person. You know what? Play your game, dance to your own tunes. You got to be happy because that person's happiness is not going to make you happy.
Right.
So once you become self-responsible, whatever you are doing, then I think all these things are nothing. So, and awareness creation. Even though there is one more security tester in your organization, that person is not creating awareness because maybe maybe that person doesn't want you to succeed or get a better paycheck. All right. What you can do is hold meetings or go to that person and say, can I actually collude with you, become a partner with you, and can we hold a workshop for our team members inside the company? Then you are actually changing the mindset of the other person as well. because that person is like, okay, this person is actually open for partnership rather than saying this person goes alone and does this training and this person takes all the credits. So that's internal. Uh, you got to deal with some bullshit as well. So for a better change and for a greater change, yeah,
So Santosh, how do I help build a security mindset within the uh, industry or within the testing community itself? Because now I will tell you what is happening. Okay, we saw a lot of focus being given to automation testing and tools and technology and whatsoever. And one of the biggest or the easiest entry points for automation testing is through the UI. Okay, so people do a lot of UI testing, and Selenium is one big hot tool. Everybody's trying to learn that, master that, which is good, which is not bad at all. Now, from UI testing, the focus is slowly moving towards API testing, right? So even now, while people are talking about UI testing, API testing, I don't see people talking about security being done at lower layers. I don't see people talking about API level security. I don't see people talking about unit level security. So for me personally, it is a game of a mindset. So what is your advice, or what advice would you give me to help me build that mindset within the organizations, within the teams, within the testing community?
yeah. This is a hashtag just kidding. Okay. Uh, but API testing doesn't pay you, right? It doesn't give you a paycheck. Because in the first place, you were not hired for that position. And people think that, okay, I was hired only for Selenium with UI or only UI testing. I need to enter some characters on the user interface and see what happens. Now that's the mindset. It's just like that horse tied to a chair with a rope, and that animal is thinking that it cannot run. So that's the mindset as well. You are not defined by your designations. You are not defined by what you were hired for. You are not defined by anyone else to do this or to do that. People can, I mean, if you give me a software, I'm like, wow, I can go here, I can go there, I can go from the underground, I can go from there as well. So it's so much, so many opportunities. I mean, so many ways, right? But people don't think about it for multiple reasons. One is they are not happy with their job first, and the second one is the manager is going to say, "Why are you doing that? You are supposed to do this." Because manager doesn't have the same thought process. I'm sorry, hold on. I need to get the chewing gum out. Okay, so so the manager doesn't have that mindset, then the subordinates as well, or the people in that manager's team are also going to be like the manager itself. And then they do this back pitching activity in the cafeteria saying that this manager doesn't allow me that. But you know what? Don't even tell your manager. Just do it, right? So you can go to the API level as well. And many people think API testing means Postman. API testing means karate. Those are the tools, and those that is not really testing. The tools are amazing. They're beautiful. They're supposed to do what they do, and they do it really well. And you can do it even with the burp suite as well.
Yeah.
The automation itself. You don't need Selenium to do something. Okay, if you have to automate something, you can use Burp Suite. Now that's a security testing tool that goes in the brain, and everyone is not touching Burp Suite because it's a security testing tool. It's not an automation tool. Not really. You can use a pen, okay, to write. You can use a pen. I'm sorry, but you can use a pen to kill someone by poking and many things. Just like Book Suite, you can do automation as well, even functional as well. You can do it from Book Suite. I mean, of course, Selenium does it in a different way, But wherever the context demands, you can use different tools, and don't be under the impression that developer tools in the web browser means only a developer has to use it, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you can use it. It just takes some energy and strength to move your mouse on that in that corner and click on those three dots or the hamburger menu, and then go to web developer tools, and then it opens up the panel, right? So we are stopping ourselves to not go ahead and do something. Then that connects again with the API as well. Now that's not what I would say is you need not get rid of UI testing, okay? But also do that. If you can save better time in the APIs, do that. If you have to do certain things from the UI for a better test coverage for reversal, do from the UI. It's not just one thing. It's not just about going to API and then going to the lower level and testing it. Your application is filled with everything: UI, APIs, your HTML, JavaScript, and this is server-side code, and there are firewalls, there are intrusion detection systems, there is intrusion prevention systems, and all this. So you can pick all the systems and you can still do testing. Don't get rid of something and say, I want to become an automation engineer. Well, these people say that because they don't want to do testing. And then they want to do only automation engineer because the paycheck is brilliant. And that's the sad state of the industry as well, because we are glamorizing a lot of automation, and we are not saying how a human brain can really think deeper and define the test. It could be for automation as well. It could be for your, if you're not using automation as well. I don't like to use a manual here because I feel itched, I feel choked. I'm sorry. But so no one stops you. You can get anywhere. API as well. Now, the thing about API is you can really automate it in a beautiful way. And you can look into the APIs in terms of changing the request methods as well, tampering with everything. Now, if it's a get request, okay, why not try trace method? Maybe most of you do not know about trace method, but that may give you sensitive information. When you replace a get or put with trace or get with trace or post with trace and see what's the response. But you know what? People won't do that. The reason they won't do that is whenever there is an API testing, the tester sits with the developer and says, how do I need to test this? Okay, that's a big problem. If that doesn't happen, the developer will come to tester and say, use this tool, okay, use this tool, and then use this payload or test data, and then you need to see this response. Then it's fine. And why the hell am I testing?
Correct.
You
Correct.
you saw that already. Okay, I mean testing is not that. It's so much deeper. It's an ocean. And we will be like, that's like manipulation by the developer, because the developer also doesn't, I mean, that person may know it or bluffing, or that person may not know. API testing can be done in many unique ways and different ways as well.
Right.
So, so what I would say is UI is also good. API is great actually. What I will say, because the kind of bugs you get on the API level, it's out of this universe. Yeah, the kind of bugs. So I'll try to give an example here with the API. Can I? Okay,
Yeah, of course.
perfect. Thank you. So with the API, if you are doing the UI testing, all you do is you go to change password and change your password, and then say the change password works fine. That's a very shallow way of testing using the automation power. Okay. Now, have you if you are thinking about API testing, you need to think this way or probably different way, as long as it adds value to the work that you are doing. Now, what I did, this was one of the crowdsourcing web applications, and I was a user there. So I got payouts several times, and then I got bored with those payouts because that was really less. And now again, going back to my childhood days, money was the motivation here. I did not have money then, but here I still don't have money, but I want to make more money. So what I do is I go to change password, open my network tab, go to the developer tools, go to network tab. You know what? Just do it. Go to network tab. Most of them haven't even seen the developer tools. What kind of elements are there, or what can we do with the console? What can we do with network tab? What can we do with application tab? How can we look into cookies? What is the strength of a cookie value? Are they using the JavaScript web tokens? And what kind of security is there for this application? And how can I look into security tab? All you got to do is the tuning of developer tools, and you will understand, oh, wow, I can see this part here, and I cannot see it on the UI. So developer tools, use it always. And if you are using a small screen, migrate to a bigger screen because you can see it really well, or else you will spend most of your time adjusting the developer tools panel and your UI. Okay, it's kind of annoying sometimes. So get a bigger screen so that you can have a two windows side by side and keep looking into the developer tools as well. So there's a question here. Should I take that now or API testing? Right?
There is a
Okay.
question.
Sorry. I remember the question now. Hold on. Yeah. So the API, what I did was I went to change password. There is one endpoint, and then there is a old password. No, hold on. There is no old password. There was no old password. There's only confirm password and a new password field. Now that speaks about re-authentication. Wherever there are sensitive features, you need to re-authenticate, even though the person is logged in. You need to re-authenticate for sensitive areas, like I'm sending like 5,000 US dollars to someone. That's a high amount, let's say. I need to be prompted for a password again. For change password, I need to be asked to type in old password because that's going to authenticate again because I'm changing the password for someone. And this web application did not have old password. I was like, wow. So if I leave this computer and go somewhere, someone else can use this. Maybe the session management was not good for this application. You can go to change password and then set a new password for me because it did not ask for the old password or the current password. And then people can bypass all these things. Brijesh, okay, you moved because you were still, and I was thinking that am I connected to internet or not? Okay, you're good. So sometimes movement is good. Cool. So what I did with the change password, re-authentication was not there. But my brain said, this is nothing actually. Okay, fine. This is a security bug. People have to re-authenticate by asking the old password or current password. But what I did was I wanted to hack the admin because that's where the money is. Now we see how different things like money, or it could be gold or diamond or a treasure, which motivates the hackers as well. So what I did was I looked into the endpoint of the change password that had one of the parameter called as the ID. And my ID was 53216. Let's say that, okay? As an example. I mean, wherever there are these IDs, right? I love them. All I need to do is change them, change the ID so that I can change the password for someone else because there is no old password. Now you see the connections, right? Because this application did not ask me to enter the old password. So I can just replace the ID with someone else's ID and I can change the password, right? I got to know this, but I did not affect any user. I did not affect the business by changing it for all the users on the platform, around 50,000 users. I could automate it and just keep implementing the ID number with the same password called as Santhosh Tuppad hacked you or whatever I decide. So no one will be able to log in. But I don't want to do it because I wanted to do responsible disclosure as well. But I wanted to hack the admin. Now, there was one person called X, all right? That person was an admin. And how did I get to know this? I wrote an email to Mr. X saying that, you know what, I'm not able to change my first name in my profile. Can you please change it? And I get a response saying, on it right away, okay, in a minute or so. I mean, who can change something in a minute? Admin, right?
Yeah.
So which means this person is an admin. So I got to know that Mr. X is an admin as well for this application because Mr. X used to work for that organization. Once I got to know that person is an admin, what I did was to find the ID of the admin because the request body used to have that ID parameter as well along with the new password. So what I did was go to the social networking feature of that application because they were so happy that they rolled out a new feature saying now all the members of this crowdsourcing community can talk to each other. They can add them as a friend. Amazing. People become so happy whenever they roll out a new feature. Lovely. But also I become happy because I want to see what else is there. I go to this social networking feature of that web application. I enter Mr. X in the search. I go to Mr. X's profile and I right click on the image, go to inspect, and in that inspect, there's a tag, which is your image tag. And they were using the ID attribute there. I mean, who does that? Why are you using the ID attribute on the image, on the picture, for whatever reasons? Because the developers just copy it and they say, okay, it will make my job easier. If I get an ID here, they can talk to the server very easily,
Yeah.
or whatsoever reasons. So I got the ID that way. Now, what did I do? Going back in the change password, I click on send and then open the developer tools, the network tab. I go to that specific request of change password and I replay the request by copying, right click on that specific request in the network tab, right click, go to copy and then fetch request. Fetch is JavaScript. So copy a fetch request and then paste it in the console and then change my ID to the Mr. X's ID and it gave me 200 successful. That was my first level of maybe third level of happiness, okay, because I got the ID of Mr. X and everything. The third level of happiness. But I wanted to confirm, have I changed the password for Mr. X or not, or else it's just 200 okay. I don't know how the server side is responding. What I do is click on logout from my session, go to login, enter the email address. How did I get to know the email address? Because I sent an email. Because that Mr. X used to email to all the people, all the members of the application, saying that you have this project or you have that project. So that's how I got that person's email address. Replace the, in the login form, I entered the email address and the password is whatever I changed for Mr. X. And you know what? That was the final level of happiness because it gave me the admin access when it started to load up. There was a great dashboard which gave me access to send money to the other people as well and how many projects they have and all details. And I could delete the admins and I could become the sole admin. I could get the business down completely for maybe few hours. It's like an outage, right? It's an outage. But what I did was I reported it, recorded the video and sent it to them. Then they fixed it because the ID was the culprit here on the client side as well, where you were using it in the image HTML tag, and also you are making it so much visible in your request body. That's not the way to do it. So you can do all these things. Now we see that it was not quite straightforward. That's where I'm speaking about the security mindset. How do you see things around you and what's your goal and how you want to meet your goal? So that's the API. It's the heart or the brain or the kidney or whatever. It's amazing. So if you go there, but you need to get your tests here, and then implement or execute your tests using a variety of tools or anything. You can use a curl command. You can do it with the APIs as well. You can use the curl command as well. But the moment we see a black screen, okay, we are like, oh my God, I cannot really work with this. This is a command prompt. You know what? It's powerful. I'll tell you. When you see a black screen, I love it. You can change the colors as well there. If it's a colors festival or something, you can change the colors by going to the preferences of your command prompt. Yeah. So that's about API. Yeah.
Well, I have a very interesting story with Santhosh. So I was at one of these conferences and we were just chatting up, and I saw Santhosh busy with his laptop, and I just walked up to him and I see him smiling, and I asked him, why are you smiling looking at me? He said, I'm not smiling looking at you. I want to show you something that I just found. And he opens up, shows me the screen, and what I can see on the screen is the robots.txt file of one of the biggest hospitals website. And it was unbelievable the kind of access that Santosh could have gained, or in fact he had gained, could just ruin the life of so many doctors in the hospital.
And patience.
So what Santosh did, and correct me here if I'm wrong, Santosh, he immediately informed the hospital about it. The hospital, I think, at the first level did not believe what happened. So Santosh had to provide some more evidence. and and then maybe you can finish the story
Yeah.
and give some serious advice of what can be done with just the robots.txt. I mean,
Uh,
it's just a starting point for testers. For me, it was an awesome thing to look at and learn from.
right. So robots of TXT, that's one of my favorites. So whenever I go to any application, I robots.txt is in the root of your directory.
Yeah.
So example.com/robots.txt. And why I use this is because it helps me what is disallowed, what is allowed for the robots of search engines because they keep crawling your web pages to put you on the search engine, the Google bot or Yahoo bot or the Bing bot. It comes to your website, crawls the different pages, and then puts it on the database of Google or Yahoo or whatever search engines. Now, many people make this big mistake of adding the admin location there slash secure slash admin.aspx or .php or whatever. So that's what I got from robots.txt because their intention was to stop the robots of search engines from crawling admin page. But actually, it helps me as a hacker, right? Because robots are going to not index those pages, but I'm going to index because I'm a human. I'm not a robot. I mean, that's what I feel a bit offended whenever it says I'm not a robot, right? So I took that admin thing, admin URL. I entered it. I pasted it in the URL at the address bar. Hit enter, and I was so happy. It was username and password, and then login. It was the admin login. The first question here is, why would someone put an admin login on the web for everyone? No static IP, nothing else. You're not whitelisting the IP addresses. It is visible for anyone sitting in Jamaica. They can hack. They can visit that page as well. Anyone sitting in India or New York or anywhere, as long as they have internet. So I went to the admin panel, and the best part is this is a joke here. The text on that admin login page said, "Dear visitor." I mean, why would you call an admin dear visitor in the first place, right? Dear visitor, welcome back to the admin panel. I mean, why would visitor go to the admin panel? And I was like, wow, these people knew that the malicious hacker should be here. They are so welcoming. They are so warm. So they are welcoming me. Okay. So I went there and there was a SQL injection. Now we see how the security bugs are related to one another. It's not just finding one and stopping there. SQL injection. Robots.txt led me to the admin page. From admin page to SQL injection. And from SQL injection, after trying, okay, maybe few hours, I got access to all the patient records. I got access to the admins. I could delete all the admins again. I could add new admins. I could add new doctors. Now, the thing about this is, if anyone had a dream of becoming a doctor and they couldn't become, I would make them a doctor. All they
Yeah.
need to do is wear an apron and a stethoscope and walk into the hospital. And the biggest mistake of all is this was a centralized system. The reception, right? There's a computer in the reception, and the person sitting there is going to see, oh, you are a doctor or not by entering the details. And this database was connected to that. Now, that's crap. Why would you make that centralized?
Yeah.
And you can walk there with a apron or a stethoscope and then say, I'm a new doctor. And that person looks into the computer, all right, you're a new doctor. You have joined today. Because I have changed all the things in the admin panel of a web application. So these are some of the dangerous things. And I could see all the patient records. I could kidnap someone if I wanted. I did not want. I reported it to the customer. They did not understand it, but I hope they fixed it. Uh, so patient records, this can be sold to someone else. This is where the data selling becomes easier. What
Yeah.
hackers do is they hack the database and they sell it on eBay or torrents or any other website for $100 or $50 or even 10 US dollars. Because this is a quantity game, because there are many people who want to buy this data. There are buyers. So if there are even 1,000 customers, 1,000 into 10 is like 10,000 US dollars. Actually, there are more than 1,000 companies who may want to buy it. So this is what I did. I could even kidnap someone because uh, all the inquiries made from the home page of the application would come to the admin database, which is the admin panel. I mean, I should actually praise them. It's a compliment to the developers. They have made it so fantastic, the UI in the admin panel. I did not even copy paste all the patient records. I could just export it to the XLS. They gave an export feature as well. So it's so easier for hacker and faster as well. So just go there, you went inside, you click on the export, then you have the XLS, uh, all the patient records. You can use the phone number, and then let's say someone used the inquiry form and they sent the data saying that I have a cough, I have a leg pain, or whatever it is. So I parse all the data. Whoever has chronic pain or anything else, I would write to them saying, well, you know what? Okay, you are really having chronic pain. We are sending it from this hospital. Of course, you can spoof the email addresses. Somebody, I mean, you can do it from long time back.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can become a Bill Gates at the rate Microsoft.com or anything else. Yeah. So what I did was this person, president at the rate this hospital.com. So we have started a new service wherever a patient has a chronic uh, disease or a pain, we send our taxi. So the patient says, oh, thank you so much. Okay, lovely. But I send a taxi to kidnap that person, not actually get that person to hospital. So you see how many attacks you can do. I mean, I did not do that, but I thought about all these things. With data, you can do a lot of different things. And that was due to SQL injection. And how did I come to the admin page? Robots.txt, which people do not even visit because they think it's a search engine optimization.
Yeah.
Of course, it is, but you are going to get a lot of sensitive data from there.
Honestly, Santosh, a lot of people doing testing of websites do not know about robots.txt. That is one thing. Okay, now we have hit the time limit, but I believe you can spend a few more minutes with us. That's okay?
Always
Okay,
here.
thank you so much, Santosh. So I have this interesting question which has come from Tara Shankar, and his question is: once I put symbol in phone number field and the app crashes as backend expected a number. When I told the developers, they asked me, why don't you put numbers? Real
Sorry.
customers will never do this. How to convince? So, you have some advice for Tara Shankar?
I don't know what. Okay, fire that developer. When if you have a good connection with the manager, just fire that person. Now the question is, it's crashing. The app is crashing. That's a big bug, right? Okay, if you are putting the symbol there, why don't you put numbers? Well, why should I not put numbers?
Correct.
Yeah, that would be the counter question to the developer saying that. Why do you think everyone will put the numbers itself? Because on the mobile app, the keypad is so cumbersome. Okay, you don't even know. Sometimes you press these special characters. You press that. Look, okay, it could be a typo. Okay,
Yeah.
so if you are doing this in a bug advocacy, have different subjects because as the device is smaller and you can press this and then the app crashes and even if it's on the web application as well on your machine, you can still press something else deliberately and it, let's say it gives an error. You can still report it and the developer will say, why did you do that? Right? Well, tomorrow I'm joining a company where I'm going to be a reputation manager for the company and I will affect your reputation of this company because they are the competitor. They're competing with us, that company. So I will write on Twitter and how would you feel that day? This kind of questions and also bug advocacy. So you can do that, but even after that, if the developer says no, the users won't do it, either you have to leave the company or the developer has to leave the company. Yeah,
All right. We'll take two more questions in the best
or
interest of time.
escalate it to the founder. Keep writing the emails. If that founder is on Twitter, say I want to speak about something because the founders will be on Twitter. Okay, go there and write to them, but don't write the bug on Twitter itself because you would be publicizing it. So
Yeah.
tell them, okay, I'm an employee, but I won't speak to you. The founder is going to speak to you, or else the person is going to fire you. Both of them are good. It's fine. Yeah.
That's some cool advice. Well, here's a question for you. We'll take two more of these before we disperse for the evening. What are your favorite tools that you use as a tester in your day to day life, Santosh? Any top five lists that you want to share?
I don't have the top list. I use everything and anything based on the context. It could be your Chrome plugins if you are doing a web application, or you can use the Firefox add-ons as well and see how it can help. Uh, and also, it's not about to me. It's not about one tool. It's Burp Suite or Nmap, which is a network mapper for your network security, or it could be a Postman or Karate or Selenium. They're
Or
not tools
something
for
like
it.
Wireshark, even.
Wireshark as well for looking deeper into your network packets.
Mhm.
Wireshark is amazing. It looks really scary once you open it, but if you invest time, you will really feel happy because there is so much of information in Wireshark when you look into it in, a, in depth. And favorite tools, I, I use multitude of tools. I do not have top five or anything. I don't want to make it look like this is great. These are the great tools or anything like that. For instance, I'm going to ping something to Brijesh now. Now that's to osintframework.com. I'm not sure okay, if you have heard about it. I use it for uh, intelligence gathering, the OSINT framework. There are so many tools. It's a mind map. So once you open it, you will understand, okay, there are so many tools in the world that I can use. as a tester. Developer tools, we forgot about it. If you are using developer tools, that's your first one. Yeah, I mean, it's not like first one. You can use anything based on the context. Hosting framework, and then there is packetstormsecurity.com. Once you go to the website packetstormsecurity.com, you are going to see a file section, and that has a lot of it, like thousands of tools that you can use. So, which is my favorite pen? I can answer probably. But when I am into security or testing, anything that I see, for instance, your keyboard, one of the keys is missing. Now you will raise a ticket to your IT department saying that I need a new keyboard because I do not have an escape key and I cannot test a software for the escape control, right? Now the problem with this is if you are someone who is really curious, you get keyboard mapper tool as well. I'm telling you about everything. So it's the context that decides what tool you want to explore and find out. So you can get a keyboard mapper. It's going to map, for instance, you don't use the F9 key on your keyboard. You can map F9 to escape and use the F9 as escape key. Then you are saving time. You are actually helping your client or your customer or your company to save the time. So tools wise, I think you also have it on apps.testinsyn.com/mindmaps. There are many, but I wouldn't encourage you to keep doing the same thing. I encourage you to go on the web and get to know many others and use them and see where can I apply this.
Or
Yeah,
probably build your own tools.
exactly. So I build my own plugins. So when I
Yeah.
need to do it, yeah, cool.
So I have this question, and this is my personal thing. So is it true that if I want to become a black hat or a white hat hacker, I need to master Kali Linux?
Now, uh,
I thought so too. Well,
okay.
thank you for
Uh,
confirming.
so I never started hacking with the tools I did when I started when I was a kid. What do you think of? I mean, of course, it was a thought. Then I used that unmasking software. But the main thing was a thought here. What
Yeah.
should I do and what kind of tool I need to use? Should I buy this pen or that pen? Okay, that pen also right, this pen also right. What's my preference? Then you can choose something else. Kali Linux, it's a distribution. It's a fantastic one, distro. It has a collection. It's collection of all the utilities, tools, and whatever can help a security engineer. But if you don't have a mindset, it's no point. Okay, how to use that Kali Linux or Metasploit framework as well. They're amazing tools. But if you
Thank
don't
you.
have an idea, they don't have a role to play. If I
Thank
don't know
you
the
so much
answer,
thank you so much for clarifying that. Now here
it's the
is
same.
the
I would like. I'm sorry. I would like to provide one anecdote here or an example, metaphor. If I don't have an answer in my brain, doesn't matter what kind of pen I have. I'm not. I'm not. I won't be able to write an answer to that question. Yeah.
absolutely. And this probably is the last question that we would want to take for this evening. So Santosh, there is so much noise on personal information being exposed. What can happen if our phone number is shared with everyone? An example? What can go wrong?
I I need to ask this question. Counter question. What do you mean when you say everyone? Uh,
I will give you an example. Probably I can relate to the context of this question. So a few days ago, there was this news of Facebook leaking the user information of so many people. So there was this website built by one of the organizations claiming that they are security experts, and they built the website and said, okay, enter your phone number to see if your data has been hacked or not.
Pwn, pwned.com as well.
No, it was something else. And I questioned the website. I said, how do I know that this website is not collecting all the phone numbers and then selling it to telemarketers? Okay. So,
Okay.
so what? So that brought in this question of sharing our information such as phone number with people,
Yeah.
with anyone and everyone. So that is
Right.
probably the context to this question. So
Yeah.
so what can go wrong if people know my phone number?
Right. What can go wrong if people know? Even I will consider a stranger example here,
Yeah,
and
stranger.
knowing the phone number of a stranger, how can you really make people believe uh, something else while it's not the same case? I was in
Correct.
Rishikesh, okay, the yoga capital of the world. I was in Rishikesh and I was sitting in a cafe. I saw two boys, okay, maybe the engineering college, okay. They were sitting there and chit chatting, and I was alone. I was having a coffee, actually tea, sorry. So my ears were open to the conversation of what they were doing, but my eyes were somewhere else, not on them. So what I tried doing is uh, I was waiting for some information which I could use it for my benefit, to feel happy or to feel good about my skills. I mean, the restaurant owner walks in there and says, "Oh, it's been a long time, man. Okay, you haven't visited our restaurant since long. I tried calling down your phone number and it said invalid number, right?" My ears were like, okay, this person is going to share his phone number with the owner of the restaurant now. So I heard it. I recorded it because that person communicated the new phone number to the owner of the restaurant, and my ears were listening to that. And what I did was I took half an hour break because they got food, and I knew that these people are going to sit there for half an hour at least. Meanwhile, I went to Truecaller. Okay, Truecaller, we are using it. There are many different apps as well which you can use. I went to Truecaller and I entered the same number, whatever that boy communicated with the owner of the restaurant, and I found the full name.
Yeah.
Then I went to Facebook, then entered that phone number and I entered the name because that person had not linked the phone number with Facebook account. Then I scrolled the pictures of that person, the horse riding. Okay, that person was a mechanical engineer and all these things. And after half an hour, I just strike a conversation with them by just saying, hello, where are you from? All right. The person was talking, are you a mechanical engineer? And that person said, how do you know? And being in a Rishikesh, okay, the yoga capital and the energies and the vibes, okay, I said, you know what, I'm a yogi. I do yoga and I can see the energies, okay, flowing, and that's how I got to know you are a mechanical engineer. But Facebook gave me that information. But that person doesn't know that because that person doesn't remember that I know the phone number when that person communicated a new phone number with the restaurant owner.
Right.
That the boy was not aware of that. That person started believing. What else can you tell me? All right. Then I was like, you need to give some time, 5 minutes. All right. But I knew all this information in my brain. But I had to ask 5 minutes to make it look like it's real. Okay. So I don't want it to look like, okay, I went to Truecaller, Facebook, and all over social media. And I tell him after 5 minutes, wait, I'm thinking. That's what I tell him. And I say, you love horse riding. And he's like, wow, that's so true. And even a friend of that boy was like, man, that's awesome. And the other friend of that boy asked me, can you tell about me? I said, the energies come automatically. You cannot enforce them. Today it was about this boy. Okay. And that person was like, yeah, I understand. But you know what? It was merely with the phone number, I could gain all this personal information. For instance, if you go to hunter.io, I'm just typing it in the private chat. If you are applying a job or if you want to report to some company, you can go to hunter.io and just enter the domain name of a website, and it will tell you the email addresses of the management, the key contacts. It could be management or someone as a director or anyone else. this is the way to do it. And if you use the hunter.io, it masks two characters and replaces them with the A. So let's say it says James, right? James, while it's only James. Okay. One thing is I can know it, but maybe there could be some other name. All you need to think is copy that email address and search on Google, and Google helps you. I'll tell you. It says, "Did you mean James?" Wow, cool, right? Now, Hunter did not tell you that, but the Google is helping you. Did you mean James? Because Google is seeing it as incorrect string or a name. I love Google for that. And if you love Google too, then go to Google Hacking Database. It's called as Google Docs. You need to just search for this. I pinged it, Google Docs. So search for it, and then you can search amazingly. There are so many ways to search the Google search engine. That's you can hack with the Google as well. That's what I mean.
Oh, this is
Uh,
Google Docs is one of my favorite. Yeah. So basically, with just a phone number, you can do quite a lot.
you can do a lot even with a stranger as well.
Especially in a country like India, where your phone number is tied to your bank accounts, you can get your OTP there. Srinivas, I can tell you that I can be you and get all your OTPs and all the money into my bank
Right.
account.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
that
share it with everyone. Don't share it with everyone. Okay, maybe friends. Okay, some people. Uh, and it still doesn't mean that you are secure. Okay, so it's
yeah.
always how the opponent is playing a game with you. And whenever you go to the bar, you are just like, okay, man, let's become friends. Okay, give my phone number, take it. So what I do is whenever I go to these pubs or anything, someone asks my phone number, I say I don't talk. I don't talk on phone.
I know.
That's all.
I know. I have had that. I asked Santosh for his phone number and he just refused, flat on my face. that's that's Santosh.
Uh,
Santosh. Well, anyways, I think we've gone well past the time. Thank you, Santosh, for sticking around. I want to thank the audience also for sticking around. This was a great interaction, a lot of information. You can get in touch with Santosh on his LinkedIn, on his Twitter,
Twitter.
and you can also look him up on Facebook, of course. And
Facebook, don't send me a request because I'm removing most of them from
yeah,
Facebook.
yeah.
Because
Don't send him send him friend requests on
you
Facebook.
know, 3 years back, it was like 3,000 friends. And when I see today, I was like, who is this person? Why did I add this person? Okay, that was 3 years back. But today, I'm removing it. I'm deleting everyone or removing from the friend list. And now it's like 900 odd friends from 3,000. So I feel good about it. Sometimes losing yourself is good. Yeah.
Well, so typically I don't use Santosh's Facebook information except if I have to call him urgently and he's not available anywhere else. Only then I go to Facebook Messenger to call him. But I don't think we've ever interacted on Facebook as such. But it's
Uh,
always been LinkedIn or Twitter. Sometimes Facebook, sometimes WhatsApp, but he clearly mentions on his WhatsApp that that is the last resort. So if you don't
yeah.
find him anywhere, you can probably find him there. But anyways, I want to thank everyone for joining in today's session. I hope you found it useful. You can get in touch with Santosh. Santosh is going to start some amazing programs soon, and through the test chat community, we will be informing you of some. Santosh, you want to make some announcement?
Yes, I just looked into this question where Srinivas Antipudi said
Yeah.
this, the last comment. There won't be any balance though. That was to you, Brijesh. And Srinivas, why are you telling this to all of us? Don't reveal any information, whether it's yes or no. Just have a straight face. Don't reveal your information uh, because maybe I can look into the meaning with that emoji and then say, maybe this person is lying. Maybe there is something.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to motivate me or you're itching my ego. as a hacker. So
Challenging me,
don't.
yeah.
So that can be really dangerous as well. And yeah, so that's what I wanted to tell. Yeah.
Well, so hang around in the test chat community because we will soon have some updates. Santosh will be doing some workshops on security testing, and that's coming up soon. You will have some information. And Srinivas is smiling again,
Again.
even though you told him to keep a straight face.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, anyway,
But that's a bug in the emoji, not what Srinivas wants to communicate.
that is wonderful. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much, Santosh. Do
Yeah.
join us for the next AMA. That's on Friday, the 16th of April. And that is on automation testing and your career. And who do I have as guest? Well, I have the Trimurti of Naveen Kunteta, Mukesh Otwani, and Raghav Pal, the three big YouTubers on automation testing. I have them as guests on my next AMA next week. This entire AMA was possible thanks to Mulya. Thank you for your support, Mulya. And once again, I would like to thank everybody, especially you, Santosh, for spending so much time and eating
Thanks
on the show.
everyone.
And eating on the
Yeah.
show. You have been eating on the show.
I don't care. My stomach is hungry. And tomorrow, if I fall sick, the
Awesome,
same
awesome.
people, you're going to tell me that, why didn't you eat? Man, come on, you got to take care of yourself. So that's why I'm eating. My stomach
Awesome,
is
awesome,
calling me.
awesome. No, no, I love that. I love that. This is Santosh being Santosh. Such a wonderful conversation, as always. Love your work. You are fantastic, brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brijesh. And one more thing, the announcement, there is something Brijesh spoke about. There will be a series. It's just like Netflix series or your Prime Video series or whatever. ST with ST. Security
No,
testing is ST.
don't give out too much information.
Sure.
No, 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 no. I know.
Okay. You know what? Just forget it. Everyone. Okay. You
You
have to
didn't
feel
hear it.
surprised. Yeah. Cool.
You didn't hear
Bye.
anything.
Okay.
Anyways, that was fun. That was fun. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, Santosh.
Cool.
Have an
Cool.
awesome
Thank
time.
you. Thank
All
you
right.
very much. Thanks everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.